Will adding wood chips to your pellets result in smokier and better tasting barbecue? That's what we're gonna find out in this video, so let's get smoking. Welcome to the Smoke Lab, guys, the show where I do crazy barbecue experiments you would never do at home so you can learn from my trial and error. As always, if you have any ideas for future experiments, drop them in the comment section below. Now, let's talk about wood chips. We typically see them used in things like electric smokers and those little metal smoke boxes you can get to add more smoke flavor to your gas or charcoal grill. But typically, we don't see them used in a pellet smoker. Instead, what pellet smokers use are these little compressed wood pellets. These are compressed in a machine. They're dehydrated to a very low moisture content. And at the end of the process, they don't have a lot of moisture. They don't have a lot of those oils. They don't have a lot of the natural flavor that whole wood has. Whereas wood chips aren't as highly processed. They still have a lot of those natural oils, natural flavors. They still have that moisture content, and theoretically, they should have a lot more flavor than a pellet, which has been highly processed. So the theory is that by adding wood chips to your pellets and smoking them in your pellet grill, you can get more smoke flavor in your pellet grill. That's the theory anyway. It needs to be tested in this video, obviously. I got this idea from Greg over at Ballistic Barbecue, where he mixed in wood chips with pellets, and he said he got really great smoke flavor that rivaled pellets alone. So I'm really interested to see if we're gonna get some more smoke flavor by mixing these. Now, before I get into the experiment, I want to say that if you use wood chips in your pellet grill is probably not designed for that. It's probably expressly stated in your warranty and your manual not to use anything other than approved pellets in your pellet grill. It'll probably void your warranty. It might even break your pellet grill and therefore destroy it, and you won't even have it covered under warranty. So it could be a complete loss for you. So this is the worst case scenario that can happen, guys. Your pellet grill just stops working after you use these because they jam up the auger, and you have to buy another pellet grill, and you're not gonna get reimbursed by the manufacturer for it. So just understand that if you do what I'm doing in this video, it's 100% at your own risk. Oklahoma Joe's does not recommend or endorse doing this method, and they expressly say in their manual and their policies and their warranties to only use pellets in their pellet grill. Otherwise, you're probably gonna break your pellet grill and void your warranty. This video is for entertainment and science. Just wanted to get that out of the way, so let's move on to the experiment. Okay, for this experiment, I'm using Lumberjack 100% hickory pellets, and I'm going to mix them 50-50 by volume with these wood chips. These wood chips have been specially selected by me so that they are the perfect size for this experiment. They're not too big and they're not too small. They're kind of similar to the size of the pellets. If you get really big chonkers, it's gonna mess up your auger and probably destroy your pellet grill. And if you get too small and have just sawdust, it'll probably all just go to the bottom of the pellets and kind of seep through them and settle to the bottom, and then you won't have the same results. So try to get something that is brittle so that the augers can really smash through it and not get jammed on them. They're not too strong and thick. They're about the same size as the pellets that you're using, and they're not too big so that they're gonna jam the auger. So I'm gonna mix this 50-50 by volume. And I'm actually gonna dump it all into this big bowl so that I can really mix it up and really make sure that it is evenly incorporated. Okay, I'm happy with that. So we have all of the pellets and the wood chips evenly mixed. And then after it's in this bucket, we will talk about the meat we're gonna use for this experiment. Okay, for this experiment, I'm gonna be using one boneless pork butt and one rack of baby back ribs. The baby backs will get a shorter time on the smoker, so this will give a good indication of what the added smoke flavor adds, if anything, to a shorter cook like ribs, and what it adds to a longer cook on something like pork butt. And pork butt is exposed on the smoker for roughly the same amount of time as a brisket, so this could kind of be a proxy to what the additional smoke flavor you might see on a brisket might be from adding wood chips to your pellet grill. For this experiment, I am using Spiceology Sasquatch Barbecue Erubtion Rib Rub. I really like this rub. It is packed with flavor and it gives the meat a dark red appearance. So let's start by coating the pork butt. We'll just get the top here, move on to the sides. Man, it just smells good. It smells tasty. It's got a perfect balance of some heat, some sweet, it's salty. It's got paprika extract in it, smoke flavor, honey granules, tomato powder, chili pepper. It's got some good flavors in here. Okay, we'll get the top of this butt. That's good to go. We'll do the ribs now. All right, there we go. Now, while these guys sit out on the table and soak up all of that rub, I'm gonna move out to my Rider DLX Pellet Grill and I'm gonna fire it up. So we're gonna open the lid to the hopper and I'm gonna pour in the 50-50 pellet and wood chip mixture. And we'll just level this out. I might come back every 30 minutes periodically just to push the pellets and the wood chip mixture deeper into the auger, just because I don't really know how the wood chips are going to affect how the pellets feed down. So I'm just gonna constantly be checking this hopper to make sure it's not getting jammed up or empty or anything like that. So we can close this up now, and I'm gonna start up my Rider DLX and put it on low smoke. We're gonna smoke the meat on low smoke, which is around 170 degrees, for the first 4 hours to really get some smoke flavor, and then I'm gonna bump it up to 225. Okay, we're starting to get some smoke during the startup phase, so that's a good sign. Everything is working so far, and I haven't had any auger jams. Everything is going normally. It's a lot smokier on startup right now than normal, and that's probably because of all the wood chips. Oh yeah, we got some smoke, my friends. Well, it's time to put the meat on now, and I might as well put it on while this thing is preheating to get some extra smoke. Whew. I don't know about you guys, but that smoke doesn't look too great. Hopefully it clears up a little bit when the temperature increases, but right now it looks pretty acrid. So I don't know if I want to put this meat on. I might just let it get up in temperature a little bit more. Okay, the smoke's cleaned up a little bit, so I'm gonna put this meat on the smoker. And now I'm gonna close this guy up, and we'll run it on low smoke, like I said before, for about 4 hours, and then we'll crank up the temperatures to 225. I'm also gonna spritz this pork butt and the ribs every 30 minutes or so, just with plain water. These ribs have reached around 165 degrees Fahrenheit, so we're gonna take them out and wrap them. I'm just gonna move this butt over with my butt lifter. There we go. Looks like we got a little bit of a spot that didn't get much smoke there, but that's fine. I'm fine with that. And I'm just wrapping this rib with just a little bit of water added to the wrap, just to add a little bit of moisture back into the ribs. We'll seal this guy up, and this is gonna go into the holding oven at 150 degrees Fahrenheit for the next 18 hours. Okay, we are about 8 hours in now. At the 4-hour mark, I bumped up the temperatures to 225 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's take a look at this pork butt. It's looking pretty dark. I think it looks pretty similar to the control at this point of the cook. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a spritz here. I've been spritzing both this one, and I spritzed the control pork butt yesterday when I cooked it, just so the smoke adheres better to the pork butts. So let's take an internal temperature here. We're sitting at around 148. So I'm just gonna continue to smoke this until I get to 175, 180, and then I'll take it out and I'll wrap it. Okay, we're approximately 10 hours in, and I'll show you guys what the pork butt looks like. It's looking pretty nice. It's developed some nice dark bark. I think this actually looks darker than the control brisket that I smoked yesterday at the 10-hour mark. So that's a good sign. It might be a little bit more smoky. We'll see. Right now, I'm going to remove this from the smoker. I'm going to wrap it, and then I'm going to hold it in my holding oven for the next 18 hours at 150 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we'll do the taste test. All right, guys, it has been 18 hours, and these pork butts have been holding in my holding oven. We're gonna start with the pork butts, and then we'll do the ribs second. Before I dig into this, I'm going to open up a beer. Innis & Gunn, this is my favorite beer, because I love to have a beer when I'm eating pork. All right, let's pull apart this control first. As you can see, it just pulls apart like absolutely nothing. So this pork butt is perfectly cooked. Let's get a piece of the bark and give it a taste. Pretty good. I'm not picking up any smoke flavor on the bark. The pork butt is perfectly cooked. It's amazing. Really juicy, really tender. Let's get a really barky piece that has a ton of bark on it. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't taste any smoke. I don't smell any smoke on it, so I think that's pretty typical of most pellet smokers. When you're smoking with pellets, you don't get a lot of smoke flavor, and I'm used to smoking on offset smokers, so maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I'm just not getting a lot of smoke flavor here. Okay, now let's tear into the experimental brisket that had the wood chips mixed in with the pellets. Woo-wee! That is tender. Look at that. That just pulls apart like absolutely nothing. That looks good. Wow. Okay, let's take a taste of this. I'm just going to take a taste of the bark. I think I'm getting a little bit more smoke. Yeah, guys, I am getting more smoke flavor on the bark of this pork butt. It is very subdued. It is definitely not to the level of an offset smoker or even like a charcoal burning smoker, like a drum smoker or something like that. But it is more smoky than the control brisket, so at this point, I'm ready to say that mixing chips in with your pellets does add a little bit more smoke flavor. Not a ton of it, though. But let's test out the ribs first and see if they're consistent with my findings on this pork butt. Alright guys, we have the ribs here now. This is the control rack of ribs, and this is the experimental rack of ribs where we used the chips mixed with the pellets, and they're looking pretty good. I sauced them up a little bit, and I set the sauce in the oven because I didn't want to add any additional smoke, because I wanted to make them look like they would when you eat them, because normally ribs are sauced, but I also didn't want to add any smoke during this stage because that would kind of conflate the results. So let's cut into the control ribs. I'll give you guys a close-up. Nice looking rack of ribs, if I don't say so myself. Let's flip these over and give these guys a cut. I'll just go right from the middle. There we go. Okay, nice little ribby here, lots of moisture. It looks good. Let's see how it tastes. Really good tasting rib. Not getting much smoke flavor though. Don't smell much smoke, and I don't taste much smoke. So tasty ribs, but they don't have a lot of smoke flavor. I'm just gonna cleanse my palate here. And now we're going to cut, whoa, 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 whoa. These are way too tender. Oh my Lord, look at this. Okay, this is the experimental rack of ribs, and you can see that I was a little bit too laissez-faire with this and it fell apart. So I'm gonna flip this over, cut off this thing here. Now let's cut into middle, and I'll give you guys a close-up of one of these ribbies. Looks really nice. Let's see how it tastes. Well, first of all, it smells a little bit more smoky. I'm gonna try one more. It definitely smells more smoky. Smells a lot more smoky, actually. But in terms of that translating into the taste, it doesn't really taste a lot more smoky. The pork butt that I smoked actually tasted more smoky than the control pork butt. But this rack of ribs, it smells more smoky than the control rack of ribs, but I can't really get a overwhelming hit of smoke on it. But that being said, it smells smokier than the control rack of ribs, so I think this shows definitively that yes, mixing chips in with your wood pellets does add more smoke flavor to your barbecue based on this experiment. Does that mean you should do it? Well, like I said before at the beginning of this video, you run the risk of ruining your pellet grill and voiding your warranty if you mix wood chips in with your pellets and something goes wrong. But nothing went wrong in this video, and I added more smoke flavor, so you guys can be the judge. If you want to try this at home, do it 100% at your own risk, but it does appear to do something. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section below, and if you have any ideas for future experiments on the Smoke Lab, then let me know in the comments below and I'll check them out. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the Oklahoma Joe's YouTube channel. I will see you in the next video, and happy smoking.